Hey, Facebook world. Hope everybody's doing well today. For those who don't know me, my name is Paula. I own Shake-a-Paw Dog Training in South Mountain, Ontario, Canada. At Shake-a-Paw, our goal is to help owners build calm, confident, thinking dogs through clear communication and practical training. If you want skills that make everyday life easier, and who doesn't, you're in the right place. Today I want to talk about stupid pet tricks. And no, I don't actually mean silly tricks for entertainment, though those could be part of it. Stupid pet tricks is what I call the final stage of ODR, our Observe, Don't React game. Why stupid pet tricks matter? This stage of ODR is incredibly important because it's what teaches your dog to not just ignore distractions, because actively ignoring something means you're still paying attention to it and pretending it's not there. That's not ignoring, that's kind of avoiding. And when you're reinforced for avoiding, you're actually reinforced for avoiding the thing, which doesn't decrease the distraction. But I want the dog to go, I just don't care. Like when your dog walks by a parked car, most dogs go, yeah, it's a parked car, and keep going. That's what I want them to feel like about the cat. The cars, if they're a herding dog and like to chase cars. The squirrels in the trees, stuff like that. That's what truly ignoring is it no longer even shows up on my radar. And that is the real goal. Once your dog understands the basics of ODR, meaning they can watch a distraction on a loose leash and regularly offer you voluntary attention, it's time to move to this phase. What this phase looks like. In this stage, we start by asking for simple behaviors around distractions. Name, game, collar, grab game. Say the dog's name, take a step back, reward love. Even though your dog may be looking at you, their brain is often still partly focused on the distraction, and that is completely normal. It's like someone's talking to you and you're listening to somebody else's conversation at the same time. Or someone's talking to you, but there's someone who makes you uncomfortable behind you and you're constantly going, where are they, where are they, where are they? Because that's how you feel safe. That is only partial brain power. The more you can teach your dog to focus on a task, the better they get at ignoring the distraction, or at least feeling safe around the distraction, so that, because if they don't feel safe or they don't feel calm, they can't give you the focus. And then you know that distraction is a problem, and then you can work through that, which we'll talk about in a minute. We're building a strong reinforcement history for working with you around distractions. These behaviors involve small, easy choices and high rate of reinforcement. Once they can do that, then you start increasing the difficulty. The more challenging the behaviors, like heeling, require your dog to give up the distraction completely because they need their full power to give you heeling. Heeling requires them to focus on their own bodies so they don't fall and trip, on your body because they have to be in a position relative to your body, and on their environment so they don't fall and trip. So heeling requires a lot of brain power. And that's when they can give you that attention. That's when you know they're able to release the environment. And that's why a lot of people go and say, well, my dog can't do anything around dogs or around cats or around food. It's because the dog is fully focused on the item, and the more you fight with them to get off the item, the more they focus. I always think about it as my husband's watching a hockey game and I go in and talk to him, and I constantly do that. He'll focus harder on the hockey game. I do it too. Not on hockey, but on my own things. So just remember that with your dog. If they're focused on something, you're like, Fido, 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 jerking on their collar, trying to bug them with food. They're like, leave me alone, I'm busy. So you have to, ODR allows them to go around and figure out how to release that focus. Pairing the difficulty of the behavior with the difficulty environment is how you build a dog that can work with you no matter what's going on around them. This is how we get loose leash walking, reliable recalls, dog who can perform in sports in real life. I'll give you a real life example. I was working with a young Jack Russell and we were at the marina and there was ducks in the water. Not exactly an easy setup for a young Jack Russell. He was doing great through the early stages of ODR. He did the hold the collar reward. He was watching calmly. She let go of the collar. He was able to watch calmly on a loose leash. And eventually she reached the stage where she waited for voluntary attention, which he totally gave her. All good. But when she cued a verbal sit, which he knew, and we knew this because we'd done piles of them, he looked at her and went, what? I have never heard that word before. Because the verbal cue required too much brain power. His brain was still going duck, 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 duck. If she gave a hand signal, he sat instantly because it required less brain power, and that is the amount of brain power he could give her at the moment. So the solution was they backed away from the water, practiced verbal sits, building reinforcement for the cue, and then moved closer to the ducks and kept bouncing back and forth till he was able to sit next to the ducks. They repeated this process until he could perform just as well next to the ducks as he could away from them. And then they added other cues, because once you have the brain, it's easy to add more cues. And this is how we know the brain was truly engaged. So, final takeaway. Stupid pet tricks aren't about the tricks at all. Though I call them stupid pet tricks because you can only do so many sits and downs, and I want people to get creative. Give a paw, spin, sit pretty, back up. Stays, I'll work stays, but I don't usually do a pile of stays. I like more active exercises. Healing, I do a pile of healing in this kind of situation, and I do moving cues. Moving cues are where I'm backing up, and eventually the dog's in heel, but I'm backing up and I give my dog a cue, and that requires the dog to ignore my motion and put the focus on their own body. I like those games because I can do them on a short leash, so I can do them anywhere under distraction and never put my dog at risk of making a mistake and going towards the distraction. So these things are about teaching your dog to think and stay connected with you and work with you even when the world is distracting, which is the final goal of ODR. So if you have any questions on this or anything else, leave them below in the comments. And otherwise, we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.